Not how I wanted to make my first TikTok. However, I know a lot of people are hurting today. A lot of people that I love are hurting. A lot of people that I admire are hurting. And I feel as though it's time for some of us to step up. I am a part of the Blue Lulu. I am Kiki, the conspiracy theorist with 2 Ks, not 3, but 2. But you can see I'm still repping the brand because it just doesn't sit right with me. I am trying to wrap my head around the fact that we just inaugurated a rapist, felon, insurrectionist, treasonist, fascist into the White House. Let me start by saying that I am an intuitive and I use pattern recognition. I've used it throughout my life. Not only do yes, I have my psychics and my family thinks I'm crazy, but I always look for confirmation. But that doesn't come without evidence. And I have seen all of the evidence. I have worked on the evidence. Trump admitted last night that he literally cheated, that him and Elon cheated. And we're just going to let that go. I will say this. I do not believe that Joe and Kamala, Joe, who is a lifelong public servant, 50 years of public service, he has warned us that he's just going to hand us over to a fascist. I mean, him smiling at the White House and him, the fact that not one Democrat stood up during the certification, I thought that was part of something bigger. I thought that, okay, they're speeding this along because there's something bigger at play. And we all thought that something bigger was going to happen this morning. And it didn't. And it just doesn't add up to me because I don't think that Kamala, with the evidence that she's been given, would not have requested recounts. I will say that Joe pardoning his family in like the last 20 minutes of his presidency did concern me. So I started to get a little worried there. I'm like, oh, what the fuck, Joe? Like this, I thought we were good. And so when I started to kind of dissect it, again, pattern recognition, I thought about that Intelligence Committee meeting. And how it was supposed to happen at midnight last night or 12 o'clock this morning, whatever. With 2 days left in the Biden administration, Mike Johnson removed Mike Turner, who was the head of the committee, because of Mar-a-Lago, because they knew that there was going to be evidence of election interference discussed and shown at that meeting. And so miraculously, after Mike Turner was removed, the meeting got pushed to 4:45 this afternoon. And so I'm sure you all are thinking, well, we're fucked. I mean, he's in, nothing's going to happen. And that could be the case. But every member of that committee has a duty to uphold the Constitution. And if there is election interference information that is given, if there is evidence of election interference presented at that meeting, they have a duty to act upon it. And if they don't, then they're not just complicit in a crime, they're criminals. So that being said, okay, well, all of our democracy, all the rails of democracy are gone. Who's going to do it? Trump's not going to do it. They're going to bury it. And they're continuing to bury everything just like they always have. You're right that a lot of our rails of democracy have been removed and eliminated by the corrupt people who have been put into office. But don't forget that NATO's involved here. Don't forget that Trump is a little pawn in a bigger scheme. And it's Putin who the rest of the world is after. And so I hope that our elected officials are going to fulfill their oath to the office today. And if they don't, well, don't forget about NATO. And so if America can't have nice things, NATO's, our big brother, is going to come in, or big sister is going to come in, and they're not going to tolerate it. I think that things are going to get crazy. I wish that it were simpler. But unfortunately, there's a lot of complex crimes, and there's a lot of players that are involved here, because this is bigger than Trump. This is bigger than Elon. This is bigger than Mike Johnson. This is bigger than MTG. This is bigger than all those fuckers. It's Putin that they want. And NATO's not going to stand by, as Trump is a known pawn to Russia. They're not going to let this happen. So I'm not trying to push the goalpost forward. I'm not trying to give you false hope. I think everybody's disappointed, myself included. But we're not wrong, because the evidence is all there. I've seen the evidence. I've worked on the evidence for different organizations. I've seen the Russian tails in the data, and most Americans won't even look at that. So it's not that we're wrong. It's just that our elected officials haven't acted on it yet. And I don't think that Joe and Kamala haven't acted on it out of complacency. I think that I don't think that Joe and Kamala are going to hand us over to a fascist. What I think happened is that somehow their plan got slightly derailed, but I don't think this is over, because I believe in good over evil. I believe in justice. And if that doesn't happen, then we figure out a new place to meet and the resistance begins. And I will be right there with all of you. But that being said, I don't think TikTok's a safe place anymore, given this weekend's events. I can tell you for certain Meta's not a safe place. In fact, I left Meta. I rarely go there, but I do post on my stories. But this morning I went into Facebook, and it was right after the inauguration, just to see what was happening over there. And the very first thing that opened up on my page was Donald J. Trump, 47th president. And it appears as though I liked that page, which I didn't. So these guys are all in it together. And this is something bigger than our politicians. This is the oligarchs. This is Putin. This is a huge, huge operation that we're going to have to take down. So if our American politicians and the G7 don't do it, we'll do it ourselves.